Marco.
Yeah, just woke up. What?
I made a decision to stay in the office for this episode.
Yeah, too cold. Is that?
It's too cold. It's actually warm today, but
Yeah.
so I'm getting the heck out of here soon after we're done.
So that's why you're forcing me to
So I'm
do
forcing you to wake up early
an early
and
Saturday morning live update because we didn't make it happen the entire week, and apparently it's becoming a
it seems like a weekend thing. I don't know.
yeah.
See if
Why
that
not?
sticks or not. But
Yeah.
the important thing that I'll point out is it's our choice. we can choose. We can choose to have coffee in the morning or not. We can choose what pillow we like. We can choose to drive versus walk or walk versus drive. We have a lot of choices in
Yeah.
life.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I just remember we have a lot to talk about today in a very short amount of time. But I remember a few years back, um, a number of years back now, I didn't want a smart TV because I didn't want all the insecurities and vulnerabilities that would come with it. Of course, you can just not plug it in, but anyway, I searched and searched and could not find one that was not smart, and so I ended up not plugging them in anyway. But
Well, you
I
had a
I had
choice.
no I had
You
no choice for a
Yeah, but
non-smart.
you could go vintage
I
on a
could go vintage.
black and white
That's very
TV that
true.
maybe doesn't
That's
even
very true.
work on your cable
That's right. Just
system.
smack the current one up the side and hope the fuzziness goes away.
Yeah. So where are you going with this? Are you referring to that chat that we had this week with that guy about that four-wheel things with an engine or
Yeah.
not or
Sometimes it's called
battery?
a. Most people call it a car, but is it really a car anymore? Yeah,
Some people call it a mobile phone on wheel.
it is like a mobile phone on wheels. And yeah, I mean that was a really cool chat. Trying to remember his name here. It was Scott Sheehan,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean when that episode comes out, I encourage everybody to listen to that. But it obviously it uh, struck something in us to kind of look at that and the bigger picture of what as technology advances and penetrates everything. Uh, do we have a choice for non-tech options? And you and I talk about this quite often. I actually wrote a piece on this, I don't know, like 10 years ago or so, that at some point the nostalgia of non-tech things will become so valuable to us that
So
they'll be worth
here's
more.
my thing, and it follows this never-ending conversation that we've been having now, maybe for I don't know since we know each other, like more than 15 years. And yeah, it did trigger something to me, that conversation as well. And I remember I asked a philosophical question that you can have the answer when you listen to the episode. When is a car still a car, and when it's not a
Mm,
car anymore? And I brought the ship of Theseus story, philosophical thought work process where is it still a car if it doesn't have an engine? Is it still a car if you're not driving it anymore? You don't step on the gas. There's already no clutch anymore, no gears, and I don't know. And I don't know if it's just nostalgia or bringing the vintage back, but if it's actually what I am going to discuss in an upcoming newsletter or blog that I'm writing, is if it's actually part of us being human to actually do things with our hands and
mm.
touch stuff and all these you know, interface that now we're just gonna tell the phone what to do, or a robot to clean the house, or the car to drive you somewhere. I
Yeah.
don't know if to a certain point it's just novelty and it's gonna fade out, where technology balance with what it means to be human, which maybe, yeah, as you always say, go in the wood and get off the grid for a little bit and get your hands dirty on an engine,
Yeah.
old school.
Well, it makes me wonder. I think we're being led by the tech visionaries, right? And
Right.
this is just one example. The tech visionaries saying, "This is really cool. It'll make your life better. We think you should move from whatever you're doing now to this new thing."
And I'm making
And
money.
and I'm making money off of it. But your life's better, according to them. They know best. They've done research, presumably, maybe not. So that's one path into this world. The other one, I watched a video this morning about a gentleman in the UK who looks at a lot of automobile stuff, and mainly, or not mainly, but a lot of EV, electrical vehicle stuff as well. And another path into the same realm is policy driven,
Mm.
where governments say the best thing for us. And I'm not going to debate whether it is or climate change. I'm not discounting that or anything, but whether or not we have to move all EV for vehicles. And the point that I wanted to pull from this video, not whether EV is good or bad or whatever, is that as consumers, they're pushing back on at least the current technology. It doesn't quite suit. It's not as flexible, not as long lasting, not as the resale value of EVs is less, and the price of new ones are still skyrocket high, and the technology is not quite there. But the point he's making is consumers are not buying as many EVs, and the market's getting filled with used electrical vehicles. So the market is deciding in that case that even though policy says by a certain time, if the technology can't keep up, then maybe humans, at least the market,
Mm.
says
I
otherwise.
think you can go both ways. In a way, yes, the consumer is making a decision, but maybe it's just too early to push this, meaning that the infrastructure is not there. I mean, you have some funny example of spending an hour on a rental car recharging. I've seen stuff where the Tesla charger were not working when it was super cold, not too long ago somewhere. Like literally, couldn't charge the car. So, people driving petrol, just to use the UK term for that,
Mm-hmm.
will just honk to them and say, "Bye bye, we're out of here," right? So I guess it can go both way, meaning if we had the infrastructure and it was enough demand, the cost could go down and probably people would be happy about it. But also maybe a battery should recharge as fast as or not as inconveniently as how easy it is to pump the gas and how many gas pump. I mean, good example. I'm gonna park my car with my dogs, and we're gonna do a long drive next week. So I would probably do some live event or recording from the road. And
You have to do the honking thing while
yeah, I
you're
don't,
driving.
I don't drive a truck, but it's okay. But the point is, imagine if I had to do that, which is gonna be a long drive, with an electric car. I mean, as much as I love the environment, as much as I want to, everybody to drive that car, couldn't be feasible unless you spend another extra day just to charge and maybe to go other places because on your ideal route you're not going to find that. So again,
Yeah,
I don't know how much is that we're just no ready for that, and how much is the decision of the people not wanting to do it.
yeah.
So I had a conversation with a research for innovation at Nokia during CES, which I got to bring it back to have more conversation because we had a lot of fun. And we were talking about how fast ChatGPT or generative AI have been going in the hands of people. Yeah, it's on your phone, right? But the infrastructure is there, it's the internet, the API, and all this kind of stuff. It's, yeah, I want to try it. Here it is. On the other hand, the internet took a long time to reach that many people because it wasn't easy. Dial-up modem. You needed to be a damn engineer to to connect to the internet. It wasn't fast. You had to build the infrastructure. But when the infrastructure is there, then it can be faster. So
Yeah. And I had it's a few weeks ago now. I'm still publishing it. It'll come out on Monday. A conversation with Mick Douglas and Dennis Cruz. And the question was posed by Mick Douglas: do LLMs belong, large language models, belong in a SIM, security event information
I have
manager?
no idea.
And of course, me in the middle, having built one many, many years ago, I have my own thoughts, but then those two uh, on the show had their own thoughts, and a lot of back and forth, some agreement, a lot of disagreement. Um, and as a tech slash ops person talking to tech ops people, um, one might think it's all around the tech and the ops. Is it feasible? Will it fit into the business? Is it a good thing, a bad thing? What risks do you introduce? And the reason I'm bringing this up is a very interesting moment happened. It was a tangent that went into a rabbit hole that ultimately said, regardless of whether it is or isn't good or bad, it might not be fiscally feasible. It might be too expensive to do it, um, which was not something I expected to come out of that conversation.
So
So,
what is the reason? So what would make it better? Me being ignorant on this, like what is the pro and the cons of? Let's say it's feasible, but is it actually bringing the improvement that should bring?
so yeah, the
It
gist of
may
it.
be a stupid question what I just asked, but you can tell
No,
me that if it is.
I think yeah, it's hard to summarize the whole conversation. Um, my take is it's a good thing. Um, Mick doesn't believe so. Thinks that yeah. I'm going to encourage everybody. I'm not going to try to restate
Well, I
his
guess
thing, but
my question is the usual question that we ask many times. Should we do it just because we can do it?
right.
Or should we do it because it really has an advantage, which could reconnect to, are we doing the electric car because we really want to? Are we really doing all the voice interface because it is better? Or are we just getting all excited by all the blinking lights and funny noises? And then one day we're like, I kind of want to push those buttons. I kind of want to drive that car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe kind of to the same point we're making today. I think it's inevitable that that technology ends up in there. Maybe not today because of cost or other reasons, but I think there's no way a human will be able to keep up with all that. And it's basically data, right? Looking at data, finding something that needs to be resolved from the signals in that data, and taking resolution. There's no way a human's gonna be able to keep up with all of that as things continue to grow and scale and whatnot. So,
But
um,
does it,
kind of like the
it
electric
is a
car, right?
human,
It's not quite there yet.
but that's my point, is a human to just keep going, keeping changes of our being human, our humanity. And I'm getting philosophical here, and then I'll write more about about this. Or intrinsically, our DNA, our gene, our mind, it's actually more rooted into the physical world, as we want now to believe that we're not, and we can just live in a virtual life with having meetings with with goggles and not being there and not touching things and not driving cars and not riding a horse. And that's my point, is why are we doing it, and are we doing it unconsciously? So it's a lot of question here to unpack, but also
Yeah,
connecting to what the conversation we were having. Are we just not having car anymore? Are we just going to push a button and we just transport ourselves from one place to another, kind of Star Trek, which we did mention in the
yeah,
in the episode as well, and you know,
yeah. Physical elements, of course. While we're still moving and touching and, and sitting and standing and running, whatever else we're doing. Yeah, but I think where technology seems to focus, and I hear a lot of this in the business sense as well, that it's all about efficiency, right? You can do it faster, it's probably cheaper, it saves you time, you can do something else in that spare time. To me, that seems to be the driver 90+% of the time. And we kind of miss the point of, well, is it good for us outside of just being faster
Is it
or
fun?
better?
Is it
Is it
fulfilling?
fun?
Is it something that make it
Yeah.
feels good? Yeah, it may be faster to get a prepackaged meal and shove it in the microwave, but I'd rather spend half an hour cutting stuff. So one
Yeah.
day I may be in a hurry or traveling, and that's cool. But if I have a choice, and that's how you started, right? I
Yep.
mean, if I have a choice, can I do this? If I have a choice, maybe there is a time for one thing and there is time for another. So maybe we have this super high tech thing, but still, maybe we want a vintage car in the
Yep.
garage or a bike to just go and hammer on it, just
Exactly.
because
Well, this
that's
guy had a
who we
row.
are.
This guy had a row of toys. He calls them.
Yeah,
That
right.
he said, when I want to stick or to have some fun, I go to one of these, but
Well, be
not the
nice
electric
to
one.
have that choice, sure.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I know we're coming close on time here, but in terms of nostalgia, so I walk the city, I walk the park, and uh, I'm fortunate to be close to the Met Museum. And if ever I'm passing, I take half an hour or an hour just to walk through and look and experience physical things. There's not much tech in there. There is some for some displays, but uh, I looked at some Monets and Picassos the other day,
Nice.
and just filled my soul with work that people did with brushes. I didn't look at a screen to see them and experience them. I
Yep.
stood in front of them, looked at the brush marks, tried to feel what they were
Oh
feeling
well.
as they were painting.
Now you're going in a completely different corner, which I think we could talk about this next time. Maybe we need
Yeah.
to make a note about the digital art versus
Mm.
the physical art, which again, it's connecting to what it means to be somehow human, and that's a big question to answer, which I wonder a lot on my show, and I will probably never have an answer. So
I have the
just a
answer.
bunch of questions. So I think we come up with an end. I think we had enough
There
conversation
we go.
for today. Next time will be again, hopefully from the road or definitely from a different place, so you won't see this old vintage stuff behind here. And I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for our next conversation, and for everybody listening. If you're listening live, have a great weekend, and if you are listening after, have a great whatever day it is. And Sean, please next time go to the Met. Just share some of your experience. I'm very jealous about that.
Oh, see, what do you want? Pictures of what I?
Yeah,
All right.
or a post. Put a post on
All right,
LinkedIn.
I'll do that.
Let us know what we're missing by not living in New York.
There are chariots there I saw the other day.
A fire?
Uh, not
Not a
just a
fire.
real chariot.
Okay. See, share, share.
All
Let
right,
us
I
know.
might do that.
All right.
Maybe I'll put a. It's from the other day, but I'll put a picture of the chariot up with
Okay.
this episode.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for listening to us ramble, and stay tuned to our shows, and we'll see you on the next live stream.
Bye,
It's your
everybody.
choice. Hopefully, you choose to join us. See ya.
See ya.
Insights, solutions, and networking all come together at RSA Conference. Join a global cybersecurity community at rsaconference.com/ITSPmag24.